Gentlemen, good morning. Pretty very shortly, this lecture is going to begin in no distant time. Just want to inform every one of us that in less than 2 to 3 minutes, we'll kickstart. The cadets advise to get your writing materials, get your phones silent or you put them off, because we would want to, as much as possible, reduce any form of distraction. The facilitators are here ready, and you'll be well taught on what we have to offer you today. Thank you. Control.
Hello. Hello. Hello, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to start this very important event. My name is Jangado Kasme Abrag from the Public Affairs Department. Today is a very good day, a special day for us, because we are going to start with the Maritime lecture. And the Maritime lecture is for cadets and people who are professionals in the maritime industry. As you are all aware, in different societal of learning, when there is a convocation, we have something like a convocation lecture. So also, since Maritime is a specialized institution, the management have deemed it fit that we should have the Maritime lecture. And I want to say, you should count yourself very lucky that the management and the committee, in their wisdom, have decided that very important personalities, erudite scholars, those people who are grounded in the field of maritime, are here to present this paper to you. And I shall be introducing them as time goes on. You will not regret being here. Without much waste of your time, we'll start this program with the national prayer. May we rise for the second stanza of the national prayer. Thank you very much. We are going to recite the second stanza of the national prayer after the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. O God of creation, direct our noble cause, guide our leaders right, help our youth the truth to know, in love and honesty to grow, and living just and true, great lofty height attain, to build a nation where peace and justice shall reign. Please keep on standing while we sing the national anthem. With all the sense of patriotism and responsibility, after the count of 3, we sing the national anthem. 1, 2, 3. Without much waste of time, I would like to inform you that we have the lead presenter in the house. No other person than Sir, you are welcome to Maritime Academy of Nigeria. With him, we have no other person than He's here to give you a very nice paper presentation. Put your hands together. You can do better. I want to tell you that you will not regret why you are here, because these scholars are very wonderful. I would like to recognize the presence of the directors of schools, HOD, senior staff, cadets. Please, we are welcome to this very important lecture. Without much waste of the time, at this juncture, I would like to invite
My hand is shaking.
Director SSCC, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, who is the representative of the rector for our company. Put our hands together for him. That is the representative of the rector. Put your hands together for him. He can do better. Till he gets to the podium. Cadets.
Good morning all. Permit me please take off the mask so that maybe you can hear me better. I greet everybody that is here. I would not allow the lectures to start without making some comments on behalf of management because we had it on the program. So I want to use this welcome the presenters, very erudite industry experts, and welcome all of you, management staff, members of the 2021 Cadets Graduation Organizing Committee, other senior staff of Maritime Academy of Nigeria, and every other staff who is here. It's good to take note of the fact that it was just last December that we gathered here for the graduation of your predecessors. And just like yesterday, today has come, and we have to have another maritime lectures for another set of graduating cadets. So we welcome you, graduating cadets. We welcome our presenters. We welcome everybody that is in the hall. But I want you to also take note of something that we have brought into these graduation lectures. If you saw the theme of the lectures, it's targeted at helping you develop your careers as you are leaving the academy. The theme of these graduation week's lecture is Seafarers and Shipping Career Development Paths After School-Based Training. So you are going to be engaging with very senior industry experts. And from the introduction of the MC, you have taken note of the fact that the Secretary General of Abuja MOU of Port State Control is here in our midst. We should be very grateful to management for being able to bring Captain Omori to talk to us again. The last time he came here, we did not have that introduction for him. Today, he is here. So we are very grateful to management and also a very, very erudite industry expert. The president of the Association of Marine Engineers and Surveyors, Engineer Okunade, is also in our midst. So I had to emphasize the kind of people that are in our midst, to also ginger your interest in listening to them on how you are going to develop your career path when you leave the institution. It's going to be a more practical presentation and exposition of the paths that you will be able to take when you have left the academy and how to help yourself, whether you are a seafarer or whether you are a maritime transport service. So welcome, sirs. So the chief executive is here, and I will just hold forth for him to take over from me. Welcome, sir. This paper presentation for the length of time you can stay here. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us. At this point in time, I think it's just good that I go away from stage and allow the actual paper presentations to commence.
Thank you very much. While he was talking, with a standing ovation, let's welcome the Rector, Maritime Academy of Nigeria. Please rise and let's welcome the Rector of Maritime Academy of Nigeria. Thank you so much. He said you can have a seat. Thank you so much, sir. You are welcome, sir. Next on the program is the introduction of the lead speaker for today. It's no other person than Engineer Deyinka Okunade. I want to give you an abridged profile of the speaker. If you allow me to give full profile of the speaker, you might end up the whole day. So permit me to give you the abridged profile of the speaker. He started his seafaring career in 1974 as an engineer cadet with the Nigerian National Shipping Line, NNSL. After obtaining the required academic qualification and the sea-time practical experience, he obtained his second class UK and first class UK in marine engineering in 1978 and 1982, respectively. He got promoted and became chief engineer in 1984. While in 1988, he was promoted and seconded to Germany as chief engineer and superintendent, company technical representative. Because of his love for his country, Nigeria, he returned to Nigeria and promoted as a general manager technical in 1993. In 2003, he obtained an MSc Maritime Operation from Liverpool, John Moores University, UK. While in 2006 and 2015, he was a senior marine engineering consultant with Global Maritime, UK. And now he's the chairman, CEO of Planet Maritime Services Nigeria Limited. He is the current president of the Association of Marine Engineers and Surveyors of Nigeria, AMES, a member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Put your hands together for our erudite scholar. As I told you before now, I wouldn't bother you with a lot of his long list of achievements. This is just an abridged version of it. Sir, I have the singular honor to, with all sense of humility, to invite you to the podium for your presentation. Thank you very much, sir. Put your hands together for him as he goes to the stadium. You can do better. If you know what is there, you do better.
Because where everything is happening. In my own little description, sea is that large pool of very deep water that occupies nearly 70% of the Earth's surface. Simple description. It is generally acknowledged that sea has always had a special hold on human imagination. Imagining what is there and never know everything that is at sea. Some of these areas of sea are bottomless. We don't have the human capacity and the technology to find out what is happening there. It is everything we desire and fear. That is sea. The sea is a source of enticing mystery. While we adore its nature, we also fear the mysteries in its deep. Source of quiet reflection when it is calm. When it is calm, you will even like to sleep on top of it without any mat, because it is very inviting. But a fearful force of nature to struggle with when it is angry. Now, you can see how precarious sea can be. Now, who are the people? Who are the people who dare who are bold enough to take on the seas and walk at sea. It is seafarers. We need to appreciate ourselves. That is my basic description of sea. As I said, the theme of this discussion is seafarers and shipping career development paths after school-based training. Particular topic we want to talk about today is analysis of seafaring career development opportunities, Nigerian and global situation. Now, if we want to talk about career development opportunities, we need to know what is a career. What is a career? A career is a long-term professional journey that an individual may determine to embark upon. Usually something on your passion or your interest. It is the path you embark upon to fulfill your professional goals and ambitions. Usually one requires a certain level of education or training to achieve these goals. A career might be last for an entire life. Now let's come down closely now to what we are here. Seafaring career. We know what a career is now. Then seafaring career, therefore, will be that career that is related, associated with sea environment. In our case for today, let us zero in on shipping. In fact, in line with the theme of today's lecture presentation. There are various professions at sea from where seafarers can choose their careers, depending on their respective passions and interests. For example, we have engineering, we have catering, nautical, navigation, electrical electronics, radiography, just to name a few. For the purpose of this lecture, I would like to make reference to only 2 core professionals at sea. That is not to say that the other professions are not important, but we cannot name every profession. So I'm zeroing in on engineering and navigation that actually drive the ship, which are hierarchical in structure. Start from the beginning and you move up the ladder in steps. Before you move from one step to another, you will need to acquire certain level of education and a certain level of sea time and practical experience on board deep sea going ships. For instance, as an engineer, you start from engineer cadets, 4th engineer, 3rd engineer, 2nd engineer, chief engineer. Similarly, for the navigating officers, you start from cadet, 4th officer, 3rd officer, 2nd officer, and then chief officer and captain. Every step you make, you will need to acquire certain level of education and certain level of practical experience on board deep sea going ships. You will notice that I am stressing the word deep sea going ships because it has to be deep sea going ships. Now, having talked about seafaring career, let us now come closer to the topic of today, which is seafaring career development opportunities. What are career development opportunities? You have to know what it is before we can. Career development opportunities are those opportunities that allow individuals to be trained to reach new levels of professionalism through continued education and skill acquisition. Continued education and skill acquisition. These are the opportunities you have to be provided before you can develop your career. continued education, which is what this Maritime Academy is doing and doing very well from all the information I have, and skill acquisition. For us as seafarers, the skill acquisition we are talking about can only happen at sea, on board a deep sea going vessel. When you acquire this education and skill that you require, it often qualifies you for promotion into more seniority and leadership roles, accompanied, of course, with better remunerations. We need to take note here. I repeat, the expression, opportunity to allow individuals to be trained to reach new levels of professionalism through continued education and skill acquisition. Those two words, those two things go together. Development career at sea. Continued education and skill acquisition, which can only take place at sea, as I've said. They are intertwined, they go together pari passu. You cannot separate them if you want to develop your career. Now, having agreed that career development opportunities have to be provided, I'm talking now about the whole world. The world has agreed that career development opportunities have to be provided. Individual countries and governments started establishing their own minimum standards of training, certification for officers and ratings. Because they are all independent countries, they don't consult each other. What Nigeria established and what Nigeria thought is good for their seafarers and the way their seafarers should be trained is different from what Ghana thinks. I'm just mentioning these countries, for example. So everybody was just trying, of course, in good faith, to establish what is good for their seafarers, how they can be trained to achieve efficient seafarers at sea. As a result of these individual efforts, minimum standards and procedures varied widely among the countries. Even though, as we know, shipping is international by nature. So it's not going to be a case of, okay, I'm operating my own ship, different from your own laid down procedures, and your ship will come to my territory. I will apply my own laid down procedures to your ship. So there are litigations, there are problems because of this. Okay? And the precarious conditions of sea environment, where safety is of utmost priority, makes it obvious that such variance in established standards and procedures not be allowed to prevail, because this will be detrimental to international shipping operation. Ship come from Canada, because Canada has a different standards, different procedure of training, different ways of providing career development opportunities to their seafarers. Come to Nigeria and it's different from our own system. We may even arrest the ship. Say, no, it's not seaworthy, because seaworthiness is not only the structure of the ship, it is also the seafarers that are operating the ship. They have to be qualified. So the thought of harmonizing these widely varied standards and procedures gave birth to the United Nations IMO STCW, which stands for standards of training, certification, and watchkeeping for seafarers. I'm not going to talk too much on STCW because my colleague is coming later on to talk extensively on this. We cannot talk about certification and training without STCW, like I said. So, but I will leave that to my colleague when he comes. Our country, Nigeria, is a party to this convention and has domesticated it accordingly. Now, following are the reasons why you should be interested and take advantage of career development opportunities. 1, if you take advantage of career development opportunities, it will qualify you for promotion to a higher level and exposes you to new areas of professional interest, new areas of your professional interest. Career development opportunities can catapult or expose you to other alternative career paths that agree more with your interest and professional goals. While I was at sea, I have seen an electrical officer who took advantage of career development opportunities and became, by going to colleges, acquiring qualifications, going to sea, acquiring the skill that is necessary, he became the main chief engineer on board. Because he didn't want to maybe stay as an electrical officer because of maybe some limitations that he didn't like. He decided to go on the path of development, of developing his career. And he became the main chief engineer to his satisfaction. I've also seen a radio officer that has become a senior director in a waste treatment company. Not even here, in the UK. He was a radio officer on board. He went for career development process and became a senior director in a waste recycling company, globally reputed waste recycling company. Seen a chief cook on board the ship that developed himself, and he ended up owning a top-class restaurant in London. So career development can catapult you and expose you to other areas in your profession. I have seen my navigating officer colleague have become a reputable politician. So, that is it. When you have yourself developed, it will expose you to other opportunities. Number 2, we are talking about the reasons why you should embark on career development. That is number 1. Number 2, when you develop yourself, it will enhance your confidence, your motivation and inspiration. It will prevent stagnation. What I mean by stagnation is you will not remain in one position forever. And we all know what it means when you are stagnant. Become uninterested. It can lead to frustration. And we know what frustration can lead to. Your interpersonal relations on board may become worse because you are always angry and not happy. But if you develop yourself, this will not happen to you. Number 3, it will give you that sense of fulfillment and achievement. When you obtain new academic qualifications, time and skill that you need, you will feel well prepared and ready for promotion. You will also have the confidence to face the challenges of the higher roles and responsibilities that come with that promotion. Because you are prepared, you have developed yourself. So, from the aforementioned, all I've been saying so far, we can see or conclude that if there is to be career development opportunities for seafarers, facilities should be put in place for continued education and practical skill acquisition, which is only obtainable at sea, on board deep sea going vessels. I would like to emphasize on that. From all I've been saying, we can see and conclude that if there is to be career development opportunities for seafarers, so that is what we want to analyze today. Analysis of career development opportunities for seafarers in Nigerian situation and the global situation. So we are now in a position where we know that the career development opportunities that seafarers need is provision of continued education. That is, universities and colleges and academies where seafarers can acquire the required qualification, academic qualification for their next step in their profession, coupled with the practical sea time and experience that will have to go along with that. Those are the two components that must be provided. Okay? All right, now let us now come closer. In fact, let us now come down straight to this topic of today, which is analysis of seafaring career development opportunities. You already know what seafaring career opportunities are. The opportunities that we need. Colleges, universities, academies, and platform at sea for acquisition of practical skills and sea time. Those are the two components. Now, how do we analyze this? I will like to break the analysis into three sections. Namely, improvement of image of seafaring profession aimed at attracting young people to the profession to work at sea is very important. Because young people must be interested. And I'm very happy I can see happy faces that you are all interested in seafaring. We have to give appropriate recognition to seafarers, create conducive conditions of employment, such as good salaries, of course, make it available to those who are interested, sponsorship and grants. In fact, provide free health checks for career development qualification requirement purposes. Free health checks. Encourage in whatever way possible and declare a national recognition day for seafarers, which should be different from IMO World Maritime Day. Let me just digress a little bit, so I won't waste too much time on that. It seems that we seafarers, you and I, we don't even understand, we don't appreciate ourselves. Without seafarers, there will be no shipping. And if there is no shipping, there will be no world. The world will grind to a halt. I'm not going to elaborate on that because of time constraint. Whether it is a civilian life or a military life or whatever, without ships and seafarers, nothing will work. So we are very, very important. There is no advanced country today that is not directly or indirectly involved in their shipping. And once you are involved directly or indirectly in your shipping, that means you must be involved in seafarers, because without seafarers, there will be no shipping. That is obvious. Number 2. These are the analysis now. Assessment of existing human resources and seafarers' qualifications. How much of these resources is available? Currently, as we have it, as record says, the number of qualified seafarers, both nationally and globally, is insufficient. Record has it as 1.8 to 2 million worldwide. And this is grossly insufficient. We need a lot more than that to satisfy this resource. So we need to encourage seafaring and seafarers. Number 3, improvement of maritime education and training. We're talking about the analysis now. Maritime education should be designed to be applicable not only to sea, but also to shore. Just in the case the seafarer may decide to leave sea. I'm glad to say that, generally speaking, this is the case all over the world as of today. The issue with training is the insufficiency of training platforms. Deep sea going ships. They are just not enough for seafarers who have already acquired the required academic qualifications. You have to start hunting about for where to acquire your sea time, because the provisions for acquisition of sea time and practical experience is not sufficient. It's far from sufficiency. Now, I now want to analyze and go to the Nigerian situation. Regarding career development, looking from the perspective of academic qualification, Nigeria is not doing bad. Some universities are even taking up maritime courses now. I have the foremost academy in Nigeria, Maritime Academy of Nigeria in Oron here, fully specialized in maritime education, and they are producing high quality cadets. But the issue is this: in the Nigerian situation, when the cadets graduate, especially the beginners, it's very simple and straightforward. Because start your profession or to enter the college, you do not need any sea time or practical experience. But after this first stage academic qualification, career development becomes hampered in Nigeria, because there are there are not enough deep sea going ships on which sea time and practical skills can be acquired. So you are just holding the academic qualification. System is not providing the opportunities. That is what we are talking about here. Opportunities to develop your career. Opportunities have two components: academic qualification and seed time and practical skill acquisition. Seed time and practical skill acquisition is not that available as it is supposed to be in Nigeria of today. Government needs to ramp up their efforts in encouraging and empowering indigenous ship owners to acquire deep sea training, deep sea going ships, which will serve as seafarers' career development training platforms for acquisition of sea time and practical skills. At this juncture, my suggestion is that government will need to establish a seafarers training and welfare body. Well, I say body because I don't know the name that might be given to it, maybe commission or authority or agency or whatever, that will be specifically charged with the total responsibility over the training and welfare of seafarers. So the analysis for Nigeria is, we have the academic qualifications, very easy. Well, not very easy because you have to study hard to get it. But what I'm saying is there are places that are available where you can attend to get these qualifications. But the second component of the opportunity which we need, the training platform, is almost not available. I heard of NEMASA training hundreds of cadets, which is a very, very good venture. They have to be trained. But how to train them so that they can develop their career is not going to be easy to come by because of this lack of deep sea going vessels. The global situation is the same, almost the same. In fact, this is why, one of the reasons why, to provide these opportunities globally, IMO established the World Maritime University, I think it's in Sweden somewhere, where seafarers from all over the world can go to obtain the required academic qualifications to develop their career. But to provide the necessary deep sea going vessel is not going to be that easy for IMO to do. It should be left, it will have to be left to individual countries. That is why earlier on I said the government should encourage. I know that government may not want to go into owning ships. I mean, some countries all over the world they do. But even if they don't want to, they can indirectly get involved in promoting acquisition of DCC going ships. That should not be difficult. And Nigeria is a maritime nation. We need it, and we need it now because of all these cadets that are coming out, and we should not allow them to stagnate in search of their career development. So globally speaking, we may not be too short of institutions of academic learnings for seafarers. But similar to the case of Nigeria, there are not enough ships for acquisition of skills and sea time. In fact, if you look at the trend today, because of commercial and financial reasons, ships that are being built today, they are carrying less and less crew because of automation and so on and so forth. So, if ships are carrying less crew, that means less number of positions for seafarers to stay on board and acquire their practical skill and sea time. So very soon, this will translate into global shortage of platforms for training seafarers. I don't want to end this my lecture without saying something, a message to the rector and his team. My very first time of coming to Man Oron. Thank you. And from what I have seen, though I've heard it from many of my colleagues, that Man Oron has become a befitting maritime academy. I even had the minister during the last World Maritime Day in Lagos, where I also did a goodwill message. The minister expressed his satisfaction over Man Oron, what is going on there, the conducive atmosphere for learning, the academic team and the administrative team, the general performance. The minister expressed he expressed his satisfaction. But at that time, I have not been here. Now that I'm here, I can tell you that I will also now join the strings of prophets that will be spreading the good news about this great maritime academy. I thank the rector, Commodore D.E. Efedua, retired, having me here once more. And also, I greet his entire team for a job well done, improving the status of our Maritime Academy. I will not end this without a message to the graduating cadets. The good thing about passing through an academic system of Man Oron is that it prepares you for the challenges in the real world. It prepares you. Your brain will be working. You can think about what you are going to bear and what are the likely solutions you will apply. The knowledge and exposure you receive from this institution will serve you instead if you can adapt them and put them into good use. Knowledge, especially engineering discipline, can be adapted to many fields of human endeavor. Apart from living here to work on ships, there are opportunities for shore-based position that can be filled by products of this great institution. Cast your minds back to how you got here. Possibly some have dropped along the way. From here, some of you will go beyond PhD and even come back here to be lecturers. My advice to you all, graduating cadets, is that you look for opportunity to add value to yourselves at every step on your work in life. Since the world has become a global village, your education puts you on the world stage. Your education, what you have acquired here, has put you on the world stage. To stop learning is to start dying. I wish you all smooth sailing and God's protection in your life voyage. Good luck and God bless. Thank you for listening.
You can do better. That was a rich presentation. We thank the rector and management for giving us, the staff and cadet, the opportunity for this speaker. Okay, you may have your seat. While we are waiting for the next speaker, you can as well write your questions and keep. When it's time for question and answering section, you'll be given the opportunity to ask questions. Please make sure you ask intelligent questions. I want to believe you have all your answers answered here. Those of you that were cadets before now, especially the HNDs, you count yourself very lucky for experiencing quality education. And I want to believe you are far more informed compared to when you came. And I'd like to enjoin you to take advantage of the facility the academy has. As you all know, you don't finish academy and go. You always come back. I know you are aware that very soon our words will be ready. And you wouldn't want to miss an opportunity. And you know how cheap ours is. So prepare yourself. Come and take advantage of the facilities that the Maritime Academy of Nigeria has under the leadership of our very own able rector, Commodore Duja Emmanuel Ifedua. May God bless him. I hope your questions are ready, or you are getting set for the questions. Please, female cadet especially, we are fond of not asking questions. We are gender friendly and gender sensitive. We would like to give you the opportunity to ask very intelligent questions, so that it won't be as if it is a male-dominated profession. We have a lot of males that have done so well in the industry, and you won't be left out. You have equal opportunity to practice. While we're waiting for the technical team to get ready for the next paper presentation, I would like to use this opportunity to give you a brief profile of the next speaker. His name is Captain Sunday M. Umoren, the Secretary General of the Memorandum of Understanding on Port State, Control for West and Central African Region, Abuja MOU. Please put your hands together for him. Captain Sunday Umoren started his career as a cadet in the then Nautical College of Nigeria, now Maritime Academy of Nigeria. Please put your hands together. He was later employed in the cadetship program of the defunct Nigerian National Shipping Line, NNSL. Upon his graduation from the Arab Maritime and Transport Academy in Egypt, he was promoted to the rank of 4th officer and later served as a 3rd officer. Before the company was liquidated, he had within the period with NNSL gained practical experience by working with seasoned merchant navy officers who made a great mark on his attitude, demeanor, and career. Captain Sunday M. Umoren is a master mariner with deep knowledge and experience in many facets of shipping, from shipboard experience to marine operations, owners and charterers' perspective, quality assurance, shipboard internal and external audit, and terminal due diligence, fleet renewal and vessel acquisition exercises, and he currently plays an active role in the regulatory and enforcement aspects of shipping. His short career. After a successful career at sea, he joined the Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas Limited, NLNG, in 2001 as a deputy head, shipping operations, and later served in the several positions, including head, shipping operation, fleet superintendent, Europe, America, and Far East, project coordinator of the ship management, knowledge transfer project, and BGT charter administrator before he voluntarily resigned from the company in 2014. Captain Sunday, as the fleet superintendent of NLNG, was overseeing the operation and delivery of NLNG cargoes to Europe, America, and the Far East, and thus his undisputed familiarity with the different cultures and work ethics. Okay, they are ready. Without much words of your time, let me just go through some of his academic qualifications. He has a Master's of Business Administration, MBA, University of Hull, UK, Class 1 Certificates of Competency in Marine Navigation, Master Mariner Foreign Going, Advanced Diploma in Maritime Transportation, Singapore. Awards: Best Graduating Cadet in Nautical Science Department, 1987, Maritime Academy of Nigeria. Put your hands together for them. Is the MD CEO Special Recognition Award, Nigeria LNG Limited, for business achievement. Captain Sunday Murray is a natural relationship builder with strong communication abilities and exceptional understanding. Please, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to welcome our erudite scholar, Captain Sunday M. Murray, to the podium.
Okay, very good afternoon to everyone. First, I just must appreciate the rector for the good work that he has done thus far, and for the opportunity to bring me out here. It's always, to me, it's more like coming home. You know, I've walked the street where then they weren't tarred. So thank you, rector, for tarring the street for the guys here. They weren't tarred. I've walked the street of this academy. I've lived in the accommodation here. We've struggled, and in our own time, passing out parade was purely a parade thing. After parade, everybody goes home, no lecture. Nobody prepares you for the future, unlike what you are having today. So, rector, thank you very much. The directors, head of departments, the lecturers, and all here present, I want to appreciate you all. Before we start, first, I just want to run a video for us before getting there. Typical event at sea. Because you guys are going to see, so you really need to be prepared for the eventualities and ineventualities at sea.
Yeah, even without the volume, I think it's self-explanatory. You should be able to catch up the story. Thank you. They say picture speaks more than words. So I guess you really grab what I'm trying to say there. It's purely about what you're going to have at sea. Safety consciousness at all times. So on a lighter note, I'm sure amongst the cadets, there's always been this discussion about which department is better. Is it deck or engine? Have you guys had that discussion? Do you want to get the answer today? Okay. Because I'm from the deck department, I'm going to be a bit biased. I'm sure when you attend occasions, when you hear people acknowledging the minister, the PEM secretaries, and blah, blah, they always end up with what? Captains of industries. Have you ever heard chief engineers of industries? So I'm going to end it there. Okay, so let's please head up to our discussion. So I acknowledge you guys, the class of 2001. I'm sure that's what you are called. From birth, you are the surviving 1 millionth cell. Some of you will understand it today. You may understand that line tomorrow. From birth to death, you have withstood all the odds to be alive and to be graduating today. On the next level, let me do a bit of polls. You don't need to answer yes or no, just answer it in your minds. Who is afraid of the future amongst you seated here today? Who is afraid of the future? Yes, you finished the school. What lies ahead of you? Beyond uncertainties. Who is ready to say, I will not give up? And who is ready to say, I shall make it to the apex or the zenith of my career? And who will be bold enough, bold and confident enough to walk up to the rector or his or our lecturers and say, Sir or Ma, I will make you proud. And then on the humility side, who is weak and vulnerable enough to go on his knees to tell God tonight, Lord, I need your mercies to succeed. Make me a testimony for future cadets. The testimony for future cadets will mean that, which I'm very sure, in 10 years, 11 years, some of you, if not all of you, will also have a podium like this to address other cadets. Some years back, 88, I think I passed out 88. If somebody come to me and prophesy someday you will address personal cadets, personal of the academy, I would have openly told my friend you are a prophet. Then things will happen. And I am sure, convinced that you all have your own stories. So before we go further, let's take up on what is your story. What will be your story? This is a chronicle of what others have to say about their cadetship. They see training first from Ghana and from Nigeria. Mr. Ibrahim Udwala said being a cadet on board a ship is a bit tricky. As with a new seafarer, you have no expertise. You probably have never been on a ship, or worst, you have never seen a ship. Yet, you will be consistently evaluated from the moment your right foot touches the gangway. Your performance during the cadetship is important, not just for your evaluation, but for your whole career. Your performance decides if the company should continue to keep you on their payroll. That's employment.
How well you learn the job determines your competency when you become an officer. The question now is, how can you excel as a cadet on board a ship? An engineer from Ghana said, education in schools is a mind opener. You actually learn the job when you are on the job by looking at your superiors. Then one Captain Sunday said, cadetship experience is the phase where one is molded and exposed to several positive and negative influences. However, the focused ones will, with unbendable spirit of excellence and analytical mind, will come out better. Influencers are many at sea. There are some that will advise you right, some that will take you adrift. You need to filter out who should actually be your mentor. Then one chief mate said, what makes cadets excel on board is the ability to learn fast, the mental strength of the cadets to handle adversity and interpret instructions, the manners, discipline, and behavior of the cadet, how cautious the cadet is with regards to safety, and cadets must not be lazy. Thank God for Manoron. Thank God for it being a regimented academy. You have been regimented. Some of you don't really understand why regimentary aspect comes into your training. It's to fit you, it's to structure you, filter you out, take away that human side of you. You know, military is more like a spirit. It sets you apart, and so that's to prepare you for life at sea. So the last line there is black, for you to fill in your own story. What will your story be? On the topic today, there is this consensus among companies and policymakers that STCW, the guided training by STCW for cadets and cadets, both engine and deck, are satisfactory and will lead the industry to competency if properly implemented. Note the word, if properly implemented. So a bit of introduction on STCW. We all know what it's all about. Started in 1978, has gone through several amendments till the current one, which is a 2010 amendment. It applies to seafarers, ship owners, training establishments, as in maritime academies, and National Maritime Administration, what we usually will call MARADs. The convention helps and enforces a series of standards for the safekeeping of shipping environment and of course in making sure that our ocean accepts clean. The convention sets for mission standards for all ranks of officers on board the ships. It does not apply to warships, naval auxiliaries, or fishing vessels. Fishing vessels they have their own convention. The 2010 amendment, which is the current amendment, the rest assured, less than 3 years, we're going to have another amendment. Emphasizes competence. That's why it's called what you are holding to be COC, Center of Competence. Not just like a big occupation. Rather than service or period of training. Basically, that's the training line for cadets. The first one is what you have completed. Excellent. And usually between 2 to 4 years, it's going to be OND, HAE, or BSc qualification. Phase 2 is where you are starting now. What we actually call sea training on board approved vessel. Our first speaker, Engineer Kuna, they actually highlighted that aspect. Approved vessel. So there just must be some conscious aspect in your selecting which vessels you are going for. And of course, depending on the route you take through, that second phase could be 12 months for you because you have gone through this part of training. Yours is 12 months, others 36 months if they go through the other alternate routes. And of course, after your program, you would have had what? Completed signed record book, your discharge book, watchkeeping certificate, and ready for your third phase. which is the preparatory class, usually between 6 to 9 months, depending on which schools you are attending. And at the end of phase 3, you will come out with your COC, that's the certificate of competency, or the COPs, mandatory certificate. So see training, phase 2. Remember, we are just focused on phase 2. You finished your first one already. So we are just focused on phase 2. So it's typically learning by doing, on-the-job training. It's actually a kind of education that was, one of the guys that propounded it was one educational philosopher, John Dewey, really emphasized on learning by doing. That's what it's going to be at sea. It's not just about reading books again now. On-board training should be job-oriented, and it is the most effective part of maritime education and training, where cadets combine theory with practice on board. In fact, STCW actually call it a prime aspect of your training. That word is used, prime. That's to tell you it is a very important aspect. It is the most crucial part of your cadetship program, hence the weakest link in any training system is the training on board the ship. You can actually say that this is the Goliath that must be defeated. In the phase 2, it is the phase 2 of cadet training and could be the deciding factor in producing competent officers or affordable or another seafarer. What do we mean by this? You can either come out to be a competent officer or just a number. Yes, we have produced 400 officers, but how many of them are competent? How many of them can we send out there and sit back knowing that they are going out there as ambassadors? Because the way the world is, shipping is global. You obtaining your certificate in Nigeria does not limit you to working in Nigeria. You could be the first person to be employed in Ukraine. You could be the first person to be employed in any country. Your performance will determine whether that country will look back and say, anyone that passes through Oron should be considered. Anyone that passes through Nigeria should be considered. Or a bang, 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 bang. So you are the ambassador of the future. You know, when we talk about seafaring, about ships, this phase, there are two aspects: trading and training vessels. We'll talk more about that later. Usually about working on a specialized vessel. In some countries, if you actually have your sea training on a training vessel, that's not trading. Trading means it's carrying cargo from one port to the other. If you are just on a training vessel, dedicated training vessel, your sea service cannot be counted more than 2/3 of a sea service. You still must do 1/3 on a trading vessel to have an experience on cargo operation. So typically, I'm not going to spend much time. It's about the career path, whether you are coming in through OND, HND, or BSc route, in which case you finish your program, become a cadet, do your OOW, then move on to become a captain. Or if you are going to come in through the NCV, you are not NCV, so I'm not going to spend time discussing NCV issues here. So this is just a further breakdown of the career path. But for now, let's concentrate on your next level, which is OOW. The ones on how to get to the captain, you eventually get there. So we'll just skip this one. And that's for the deck department. And if you go to engine department, similarly, this is for engine department too. For unlimited certification, the route on the left, the NCV route on the other side. Sometimes a lot of people ask us a question and said, in Nigeria, you have a different category for NCV as against what is in STCW. But don't forget, STCW clearly highlights the fact that flag states can have alternative routes. So flag states have the right to do whatever they want, so long as there is always that caveat, the warning, that the officers you produce will first be competent. Competency nobody debates about that. Must be competent, and they don't unnecessarily expose the lives at sea. So the same thing about the engineering. So I'm going to skip this to other aspects of the. We'll make the slide available so any one of you can actually take this. This is just a brainer, just for us to think through. We have NCV in Nigeria. Some people are going through the NCV route, and then we also have the unlimited route. Is there any bridge? Can you at any point in time move from NCV to the unlimited route? That is left to the Maritime administration. My understanding so far is not. Because you have started as an NCV officer that should be sentenced to unlimited training. If we decide on a higher level, it can actually be encouraged. Once when you talk about SEAFARERS, there is this popular word, minimum requirement. It's most loved and most hated. Most hated because if you don't meet it, it gets that word. Most loved because if you meet that requirement, that's spot on. So what are the minimum requirements? Seafarers are required to hold specialized maritime certification to work at sea. They must have the proof of that minimum requirement. Qualified seafarers serving on board ships must have documentary evidence of either having completed the STCW training course or an update in the last 5 years. You know, most of the certificates are renewed every 5 years. Please do a checklist for your certificate. The worst that can happen to you is having a certificate. Sometimes that is the master. To be sure that everybody that all your COPs and COCs are valid. So they must have that. Rank specific. This is generic and not just for cadets. GMSS for the deck department. GMSS. Medical certificate, that is for all. Everyone that goes on board must have a valid medical certificate. Of course, your basic training is 4 persons. Now we have 5 of them. Personal survival techniques. Personal safety and social responsibility, elementary first aid, firefighting, and proficiency in security awareness. For cadets, before you go on board, ensure that you have those COPs ready. I'm sure it's part of your training. It's part of your training here. It's part of their training, isn't it? You are lucky. In some other schools, you pay separately for the COPs. So you are lucky here that it's part of your training. So the basic trainings, I have highlighted those ones. And of course, the advanced is not for you. The advanced are for officers. Because this is purely for the department. Therefore, engineering department, let's see what they do to ensure the smooth and efficient operation of the ships. Mechanical and electrical equipment on board, including carrying out repairs, instructions, maintenance programs, and all the facilities listed out there. Their certificate too must be valid, rank specific. They must have their medical, the basic. So for you, the deck cadet, for you, the engine cadet, you must have your 5 basic courses ready. Laminate them. You must carry the originals on board the vessel. There is a requirement that every person, all valid certificate must be carried on board the vessel. Keep the copies at home, should anything happen. Okay, the advanced again is also for management staff. You don't need to bother yourself about that. Just clearly. So for officer of the watch, officer of the navigational watch, 2-1. That is what deck cadets you are aiming to become after your sea training. The rule is that you must not be less than 18 years. You must have seagoing experience, 12 months, 36 for other routes. Bridge keeping, at least 6 months. Part of your time on board, you must have been keeping a bridge watch. Okay? And of course, before you go for your exams, you must have your GMDSS before you go for your exams. Evidence that you have completed the phase 1, which is what you guys have as of today. There must be that evidence that you have completed the phase 1, which is by your OND or HND, depending on what you are taking out to sea. So for GMDSS, it's for officers, the deck officers, must not be less than 18 years. Must have your education and training, have completed a period of education and training to meet the standards required. The The type of certificate required depends on whether you are sailing on a ship trading zone A1, A2, A3. The whole world is divided into different zones, and each of the zones have specified equipment that the ship should carry. So your GM data should actually clearly identify which zone you are trained to work on. So for engineers, which I think this is what the engine cadets here are aiming at, to be on 750 kilowatts propulsion or more. Above 18 years, which I know you are, 12 months seat training. I've also learned that there's a waiver on your workshop, that part of your training in the school covers your requirement for workshop. Must have paid for, okay. Like I said, these are just things you need to do, but you also will need to show an evidence that you have completed the phase 1 of your training, which is what you have at hand. Okay. So they said the minimum period of training has been reduced from 30 months to 12 months of combined workshop skills, training, and approved seagoing service. 6 months as part of an approved training program. However, competence levels have not been reduced, and training periods should remain as currently set by the administration. Remember what I said earlier? Yes, IMO, through SEAFARERS convention, sets the minimum standards. IMO will say 12 months. Nigeria will say once in 18 months. Nobody will challenge. The administration is given the right to set their own criteria. STCW 2010 brought in a lot of innovations, which for me, it's just for you guys to know. It's for management level, but there's absolutely nothing wrong in knowing. That for officers in charge of a watch, there is a requirement for ECDs, electronic chart. Step past for management level down. Almost every company wants to maintain stack upwards should have ECDs. Or designated duty of an engine room should understand the use of internal communication systems, should have knowledge of engine room resource management, being able to use all the available resources in the engine room, must also have a knowledge of leadership and teamwork skill, also contribute to safety of other personnel, maintenance and repairs of electrical and electronic equipment, appropriate use of hand tools. On the hand tools, if you go to the next, this code, it actually expands on hand tool. It's just a simple word, but it is highly expanded in the SEACW code. So whilst the minimum training for engineering watchkeeping officers has been reduced to 12 months, this should be considered as an absolute minimum, which is to say your administration can decide to say for engineers, your sea service should be 18 months. But 12 months is the absolute minimum, and it should be substantially longer to achieve the required competencies. The aim is for you to come out as a competent engineering officer. So why sea training and not sea education? There's a big difference between education and training. This is better explained by this gentleman, Mark Annerly, where he emphasized the difference between training and education. Thus, he says, training leads to specific objective destination, specific task, while education leads to non-specific destination. He further linked both by highlighting that the acquisition of knowledge and skills and attitudes during training depends on the quality of previous educational experience. So the training you are going, we call it sea training. What does it say? It says it depends on the quality of the previous educational experience. What you did in this first one was the educational experience. So if at this level, if the educational experience at phase 1 wasn't right, you will struggle with phase 2, this is training. But we are very grateful. You have good lecturers. Your academic performances have been reported to be top-notch, and so you are prepared for the second level. So there's absolutely no excuse. You have the right platform you're standing on. So it's for you to make sure that your sea training comes out to be very efficient and effective. So what you learn in schools are the generic fundamentals, but what you will learn on board is a specific know-how. Bad maintenance. Your lecturer will tell you this is what you do. When you go on board a vessel, you will have to know how to and then assemble them. That is to say, learning in school is meant to where you learn on board. So these 2 years or 3 years you did here, they were not wasted. It's an investment in the future. And that's why one of the things I will tell you is still go on board with your notebooks. Don't drop your notebooks at home. Ship is a learning environment. And in fact, that's why we have libraries, compulsory books, reference books on board the vessels. So carry your books to the ships. Sea training connects academic theories with on the job. The program is intended to enhance the knowledge and skills acquired during the first 2 years of your theoretical period. The shipboard training program provides all cadets with the opportunity to use a ship as a seagoing laboratory. So you're now going to the lab, wherein they are required to complete their training record books. You have your training record books. It is not just about signing. Just be sure that you actually go through each of them. Close out the task before you get them signed. You can get your record book signed in 1 day. Somebody can just sign it for you. If you have an officer that just says, bring it, let me sign, please don't follow. Make sure that for every task, pick up the task. Once you complete the task, go to him. I say what I want, man. I always think like expressing. His name is Captain Malik in Chad now. Was one of the best officers I've ever seen. Every 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. while we're having a city training, all reports on board vessels, all the great lectures with him. For every task, he's asking questions before you sign on the task. You fail to answer him, he will never sign. So not just going in because my chief mate or my chief engineer is understanding. So he just signs it for me. It's not doing you any good. Before you sign, you make sure you have actually proficient, actually knowledgeable about his task before it's being closed out. Because signing this is closed out. So the shipboard training program provides all cadets with the opportunity to use the ship as a seagoing laboratory. We said that. Okay, where do you have your training record book? This record book will be evaluated and graded and will serve as a requirement for enrollment in the final stage of your course. So I did talk about trading and training vessels. The main difference is cargo work. In the then Nigerian National Shipping Line, we had some training vessels, River Mada and River Mada, and which one was it? Andoni? The 2 training vessels. They actually had instructors on board. Captain, is it Andoni? Andoni. They had instructors on board, and the ships were carrying cargoes. The best you can be, the best you can have. Okay? And of course, you are working on a specialized vessel, that's fine. So STCW mandatory requirement, the opportunities. What are the opportunities available? This is where I think I'm a bit saddened. Saddened because we don't have so many ships out there, foreign going ships for your trainings. And so often, cadets are forced to go and do their training on vessels that are trading on coastal trade, because those are just the only opportunities. For engineering, you could say, okay, engineering is engineering. So long as the vessel has a boiler, it's okay. But for deck, it's a bit challenging, because you could end up finishing your sea training without knowing what a traffic separation scheme is, without getting challenged. As in, say, if you are sailing in Singapore, when you look at your radar screen, you have like 50, 100 ships to contend with. The different ways of fixing positions for the deck department, it could be very challenging. And unfortunately for us, again, we don't have a national carrier. In our time, we had a national shipping line in which even private students paid to go on board, and they were exposed to foreign going voyages. And that's why when the company went down, most of the seafarers went out. Iran, Singapore, they went all over the world because they had that international training. But anyway, so what are the available opportunities? Company sponsorships. Company could pick up some cadets and sponsor them. In the course of preparing this lecture, I went through a Chevron. There's actually an opening in Chevron there for cadets. There's absolutely nothing wrong in applying They clearly highlight Nigeria, Angola, and 2 other countries for cadetship training. So there's absolutely nothing wrong in your applying to this, to Chevron. By stroke of luck, miracles do happen. NLNG still sponsors some cadets. Bourbon still sponsors some cadets. So pick up some companies, write as many applications as you can. In fact, you can actually write to NIMASA and ask for the list. Let me give you the secret. Ask for the list of all the companies cleared out for cabotage. There's some foreign companies there. So write to them. May send 30 and nothing comes back, that's fine. It's better off than not writing. Send as many applications as you can to all the companies. Some will insult you, some will wash you down. Be focused on what you want. Never know that 1 out of the 100 they come out fine. So company sponsorship is one. There is also the government projects that sometimes the maritime administrations will run up some programs. Like NIMASA is doing NSDP. I don't know how you can latch up on that. But agencies like the Nigerian Content Monitoring and Development Board, they sometimes once in a while sponsor cadets. I know there was